What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today is another episode of Dual Power, episode 2. My brother is not here in today's episode. He's currently moving house, so he's quite busy. But let's go ahead and let's do this one solo. You will get episodes where I'm doing solo or my brother's doing a solo day on a Sunday, but most of the time it's going to be together, and we're both going to be smashing out videos together for them Sunday Dual Power episodes. So welcome to episode 2. Today I thought, you know what, a lot of you are from age 18 to 24, so I thought at that age range you're probably looking to buy your first or second car. I selected 4 cars and let's try to find out which one's the best to buy. You know, I'm going to compare these cars. I'm going to do more digging into the cars, and the information I provide you might be able to help you select your next car. So let's get into it, guys. So the first car I selected was a Suzuki Swift Sport, and this is a 1.6 litre. It's the same car that I have, 1.6 litre. This is a 2015 model, and it's actually in a nice grey kind of colour. But yeah, it's got all the features that you pretty much need, and this is for 7.5. I've tried to match these cars as closely as possible when it comes to price, mileage, whether they're petrol, manual, and I've tried to get these cars as close as possible, these 4 cars. So that's the first car, the Suzuki Swift Sport. The second car is a Ford Fiesta Zetec S. This is again 7,500. I think the mileage is quite similar to the first Swift as well, around 30,000. 33,000 miles. And this is 7,500, 1 litre EcoBoost Zetec. And because it is a 1 litre compared to the 1.6, I'm pretty sure the insurance is going to be cheaper. Again, 2015 plate. And yeah, so that is the second car. The third car I've selected is a Volkswagen Polo. This car is this Volkswagen, because they're so good, because the engines are so good, the cars maintain the value, and this Polo is 7.5 grand. I would never buy this Polo, but I just wanted to throw it out there because some people might be considering this car. It's going to last you a long time, and you probably keep this for a lot of years, but I would never buy it myself personally. It's only got 27,000 miles on the clock, so it's got the least mileage of all cars from the 4 cars. However, it's only 59 brake horsepower, which explains why it's done so less miles. This car isn't a danger to anyone. I'm pretty sure the insurance is going to be cheap. The only person this car is dangerous to is the driver, because you're just going to die out of boredom. I mean, it's only 59 brake horsepower, you're not really going anywhere. It's not a danger on the road. The final car is a Vauxhall Corsa. Obviously this was coming, Vauxhall Corsa, typical first car, second car. 2015 model, it's a 1 litre. This car is 7,299. So it's the cheapest car that I can find. I couldn't find one that was exactly 7.5 and was similar to the other cars. This is 7,299 with 19,000 miles. So this has got the least mileage, 113 brake horsepower. So we've got the cars. I've selected the 4 cars. So Suzuki Swift Sport, which is what I've got, amazing car, love it. Ford Fiesta 1 litre Zetec, Volkswagen Polo, and a Vauxhall Corsa. Now, just going off these pictures, I'm gonna try not to be biased with mine. It's not my personal Suzuki, but I'd say the best looking out of these is the Vauxhall Corsa. It's between the Corsa and the Swift. But let's get more into the details of the car now. So the next thing I did was, obviously, I calculated the insurance. Now I tried to make this as fair as possible. So what I did was I did an insurance with 1 year of no claim discount, 1 year of holding the license, and I made myself the only driver, no second driver. So this is an ideal scenario. Obviously this will differ as well depending on your address, depending on where you live. If the area you live is very prone to accidents, then obviously insurance is going to be quite a bit higher. But this is a good average, because in my area the insurance is not really cheap, but it's not really expensive either. So this is like the middle ground you're going to get when it comes to insurance. So let's get into these prices and let's see what you think of these prices. Let's go with the Suzuki Swift first, because that's the first one I introduced. The Suzuki Swift is, let's take off telematics. I doubt anyone that's buying these cars wants a black box, so let's just take that off. Okay, now let's get into it. So the Suzuki is £1377, so it's decent, £1,400, which is not too bad. But what do you think? £1,400 for Suzuki Swift Sport, 1.6 litre, 136 brake horsepower. Let's move on to the Fiesta. So the Fiesta surprisingly is £2,000 in insurance, 2,067 to be precise, and it's just too much. The car you're getting is only 123 brake horsepower. Fair enough, it is a Ford and it looks nice, but £2,000? I would not. £2,000 is way too much insurance for that car. So I think we're getting an idea of what car we might want to look at right now. So moving on to the Polo. Now the Polo I think is the cheapest out of the four, and I'm not surprised. 59 brake horsepower. I'm not surprised. I think it should be cheaper than this. But the Polo with the black box is £925, which is good, but I mean, who needs a black box on that 59 brake horsepower Polo? I mean, you're just gonna about do 0 to 30, forget braking, any speed limits. So, but the non-black box insurance is £1,200, 1,226 to be precise. Not worth it at all. In my opinion, not worth it at all. So that leaves us with the Corsa. The Corsa's insurance is similar to the Suzuki Swift Sport. I feel like we've formed a pattern here where the better cars are becoming cheaper on insurance. It makes no sense at all. But the insurance for the Corsa with Hastings Essential is £1,326. So very similar to the Swift Sport. So I'm going to go ahead and add these up. So I've added these up and I've calculated the car price plus the insurance. I've not done road tax, I've not done all of that. I've just done the car price and the insurance. So let me show you these now. So the Swift Sport, 7,500 plus 1,377 equals £8,877, which is decent. It's not the most expensive, which I'll obviously show you now. The Ford Fiesta, 7,500 plus £2,067 equals £9,567. So that's a big leap from 136 brake horsepower, 1.6 litre to a 1 litre, 123 brake horsepower. In terms of power and performance, you'd think the Ford Fiesta is cheaper, but yeah. Polo, I don't even know why the Polo is in this, but I think the main reason I chose the Polo instead of Golf is because I want to show that even though the Polo seems like it would be a cheaper car, I mean, it's only 59 brake horsepower, you'd think it practically has no fumes, it's a Polo. It's £8,726, so it's only £100, £150 cheaper than the Swift Sport. And for the car you're getting, ideally I think everyone in this audience right now is going to say that they would select the Swift Sport. The final car, the Corsa, obviously this car is the cheapest in price as well. All the other cars are £7,500, but this car is 7,299 plus 1,326 for insurance, meaning it is the most cheapest car from the list of four, and that is £8,625, £200, £250 cheaper than the Swift Sport. So far in terms of price, the Corsa is winning. It's got 19,000 miles on the clock. It's got 113 brake horsepower. However, this Corsa is going to drop the most in price from all three of these as well. This is why the 7299 makes it more clear that this car is the cheapest on price and insurance, and when you go to sell this car, it's going to be an even bigger loss. So the Corsa is going to drop most in price, So I think that equates out. So even though you get buying the car for cheaper, your insurance is going to be cheaper, you're eventually going to lose more money. So I want to convince you why you should buy the Swift Sport instead of the Polo, the Vauxhall Corsa, not the Volkswagen Corsa, that's a new car, the Vauxhall Corsa and the Ford Fiesta. And I think we can only do that if we hit the road. So let's talk about the interior of the car. Now, it's nothing like the Ford Fiesta. The Ford Fiesta looks like it was directly imported from a Nokia 3300. The buttons are as if they were still using a brick phone, and it's just very, very unpleasant to the eye. So the Fiesta takes a whopping 0 when it comes to a score out of 10. So what about the Suzuki? The Suzuki comes with things that are very comfortable and convenient. You know, you're not going to have to buy an FM transmitter. You've got Bluetooth built in. You're not going to have to put SatNav on your phone all the time. SatNav's built in the car. And, you know, what else do you pretty much need? Whilst driving the car, the main things are Bluetooth. You can even ring people. You can check what's close to you, what restaurants are close to you, what hotels are close to you. And the Corsa is similar. The Corsa has a good interior as well, probably even better. The Corsa has screen mirroring, it has sensors as well. So the Corsa has a full package. However, there's only so much you can use whilst driving. So the Suzuki is like, it's not overkill. You've got a middle ground where you can enjoy the features of the car without them being too overcomplicated. Now, we've talked about the Fiesta, we've talked about the Corsa, and obviously we've talked about the Swift. What about the Volkswagen Polo? The Polo is, it has a good interior, and it also has a very nice exterior. The Polo is actually a nice looking car, but within this price range, you're only going to get 60 brake horsepower. Now, 60 brake horsepower is pretty much useless, let's be honest. It's like the modern day version of having a camel whilst all your friends have horses. Speaking about horses, there's horse poop right here. So yeah, so the Polo, it is a good car, but it's not that great. The brake horsepower just makes it unappealing, and it just makes it very insignificant compared to the other three cars, the Swift, the Ford Fiesta and the Corsa. 60 brake horsepower is going to be a very difficult hill start. It's going to be just complicated overall. You know, you're not going to really get anything out of it. And if you're first or second driver, you want a car that's going to make you happy, and you're going to have pride in that car. Imagine pulling up to a car meet and saying, oh yeah, so what's this car got? This has got 60 brake horsepower, mate. Exactly, it sounds like you're being sarcastic. So the Polo for me is a no-go. I would never buy that Polo. Now, so we've talked about all four cars now, interior, exterior, and it makes sense that the Polo is not winning. The Swift and Corsa are very close in terms of price, interior features, exterior look. Both together make the decision very hard. What should I buy, a Corsa or a Suzuki Swift? Now, my problem with the Corsa is you see too many Corsas. Just go to your local Mackey's, you're going to see so many Corsa cars. It's like you've come to the showroom for Vauxhall. It's just a car that's just too saturated and too popular. Now, that's a good thing, of course, obviously, because then it means that when you want to kit your car up, or when you want to buy spare parts for your car, for example a wing mirror, you're going to get it very easily, because Corsa, obviously, there's a lot of people that haven't. One thing I did want to mention was that, now, I know that Suzuki isn't the first car that comes to mind. You know, it's not the first car for anyone that comes to mind, to be honest. When I was buying my Suzuki, this one, I never thought I would ever buy a Suzuki in my life. Swift is like the last car I ever thought I would buy. But I don't know, that after buying it and after hearing other people who also have Swifts, there is something about this car that people overlook, and it's very underrated. And that makes a massive difference, just like the speed. people don't consider it that much. Maybe they think it's unreliable, but that would be completely opposite to what Suzuki state. Because if you go on the Suzuki, if you go to Suzuki showroom, they'll tell you that they've won, I think, the most reliable car for the past 5 years. So it's not like they're rubbish cars or anything. I just don't know why it is that in the UK, why these cars are not that popular. If you go to India, this is the only car you'll see. They call it Maruti. That's what they call it in India, Maruti. And this is the only car you will see in India. So I don't know what makes a massive difference. But let me get out of the car and let me show you what the downsides are. So what are the downsides of this car? First of all, modifiability. I don't even know if that's a word, but this car doesn't have a lot of extra parts outside of stock. Especially, it's just hard to find in the UK. Now you can get them from Latvia and whatnot off eBay, but you're going to spend about 50-60 extra pounds for postage. So that's something that could be a deal breaker for a lot of people that want to customize their car. I want to customize my car and I'm thinking of just vinyl wrapping it. Sorry if it sounds a bit windy either way, but yeah, so that's one thing, the modifiability. Secondly, the fuel economy. The Fiesta is claiming to have 60 miles per gallon. I don't know about that. It is a Fiesta, I'm not sure. The Polo, I mean, the Polo is going to do 60-70 miles per gallon. You can't really go anywhere with that. So, and the Corsa is claiming another 45 to 50 miles per gallon. So, which makes this one the worst when it comes to fuel economy, because mine, from personal experience, you only get 35 miles per gallon. Now that's not the best, but the only reason you get that in the first place is because you want to drive the car in a way that's going to amuse you. And if that costs a bit more petrol, then I'm sure a lot of people don't mind. So fuel economy is a problem there for some people. It can be a deal breaker, especially if you're driving a lot. But that's something to consider. Now moving on to the third part is the practicality of the car. So what about the practicality? Well, you can see for yourself, there is no space in here. Let me show you. There is no space in here at all. Now these seats do fold down, giving you an extra maybe half a meter at max, but that's it. So when it comes to, you know, obviously you've got your essentials here as well, so there is not a lot of space in here at all. Now if that's something that's going to be a deal breaker for you, then practicality is not the one for this car. Now the thing is, I know we're talking about practicality, however, the thing is, if you have this car, I'm pretty sure you don't have kids, and you're probably going to drive it something like this. Now, if you don't have kids, you can drive like this. Honestly, I feel like I'm learning how to become a sports driver or something when I'm driving this car. Both hands on steering wheel, 5th gear, and back away. It's just a lot of fun, and let's go back to the studio. Now guys, I know that this video is obviously more focused on the Suzuki Swift, and that is obviously because that's the car I have and I have most experience with, but I've tried to compare these cars best I can, and obviously my opinion would be, if you were going to buy any one of these cars from the four, it would be the Swift or the Corsa. The Polo would be last and the Fiesta would be alternative. Fiesta is a car that is a hit and miss. It can be amazing and it can be absolutely terrible, but that's your decision to make at the end of the day. I hope this video was helpful and informative, and I will see you next episode. Peace out guys.